Hey guys, Bart from TST Industries here. In this episode of TST Garage, we have a Yamaha XSR700 in the shop. We'll be replacing its pumpkin style OEM signals with our TST Industries LED front pod signal bundle. This bundle includes the signal lamps, it includes OEM 2-bullet connector harness converters, and also a means of actually installing these signals in the stock locations on that bike. When you check out this ad on our website, tstindustries.com, you'll notice that there are two different choices of the signal lamp itself. This is the BL6 signal, and this is the ARO18. Both have ample brightness. Choice will be basically from style to style, and that's up to you. If you take a look at the applications chart in the actual listing for this bundle, you will notice that it's listed for the front of the XSR700 and also for the rear stock location. That just means that if you've retained your stock mounts and not cut them off in the process of installing a fender eliminator, you will still be able to use this particular kit in that location, even though it's called a front pod signal bundle. Once you've changed your OEM signals to any aftermarket LED type signals, you've done away with the incandescent light bulbs that draw much more current than the LEDs, and your flasher relay on the bike will be tripped up and start hyper flashing very fast. So what do? We do have a separate component that is not part of this kit, but it's available. This is a LED flasher relay. We call it the Gen 2 flasher relay. We do have a separate video going over how to install this part on your bike. It's very, very easy. It just clips on under this shroud here, plugs right in. It has the same plug as the OEM component. Anyway, we're pretty much done here with the explanation of what we're going to be installing. I'm really excited to show you guys how this kit transforms the front of this bike into a sleek and sexy look. So let's get wrenching. All right, in the first step of the disassembly procedure, we will be pulling out this fastener along with this fastener. We'll be using a 4mm Allen wrench for that. Now this whole light and outer ring assembly will come down, and we will have a 3-conductor headlight plug that just pulls off its connectors here, and put that to the side. You can find the wires and plugs that lead to the signals. The plugs are gray and black. We'll need to disconnect those. Simple key and lock feature here. Pull up on the lock, and the male portion comes out. Now what I'll do is push back on these wires through the grommet and try to clear one to make some space. It's actually not possible here. I'll have to grasp the wire from the back, from the outside, and pull it back through. And now I can help myself by pushing on the plastic plug. Now it'll pop out, and now we have the signal lead going to the outside. We'll do the same with the other side. What you can do here before we go any further with the removal is memorize that black means right side of the bike, gray means left. That way we know how to plug these things in. On the way back in with our TST Industries kit, now I'll pull out the signals. I can't really show you guys very well inside here, but after I pull it out, I'll show you the detail. There is a jamming feature that jams the inside of a rubber boot here against the back of this component. After you've cleared that out, you grasp, twist, and pull, and that whole signal assembly just comes out. So let me show you how I did that on the inside there. This locking component sits in these two ears on this rubber boot and basically jams this whole inside portion against the surface that holds it here. So what you do is pull back on one of these ears, and that slips off. Then you grasp, turn, pull, and it just comes right out. It's a really nice system. It's simple to install and uninstall. Yamaha did a good job on that. Okay, so now we need to choose which mounting adapter we're going to use. Our kit comes with 3 different kinds of part per side, so you'll get 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. If you are using a BL6 type signal, you will put away the washer and use 2 of these per side. This is because the stud here is long enough to penetrate through 2 of these layers and all the way through here. If you notice on our ARO 18, we have a larger diameter stud, and also it's a little bit shorter. So what you'll want for that setup is 1 of these and the washer from the inside. What we'll do is basically install just the BL6. Just wanted to demonstrate this for you guys that chose the ARO 18. So now that we have that done, let's talk about how to pre-configure this particular setup for installation on here in the easiest manner. These BL6 signals are side specific. They do have a TST Industries logo on the back. Obviously you want TST upright. You can also tell by the curvature of the lens up here. It is curved, so that goes to the top. The straight section goes to the bottom. So this would be our right signal. We'll have to find the left signal for the left side of the bike, and here it is. I've already taken off the nut and washer that comes pre-assembled on these signals. We'll need that off for the next part. We'll drop one of these components on in this fashion. The bubbled out part goes on the wires first. Then we will drop this part on there as designated ISY2. Also with the bubbled out part first. And then we'll get the washer on there and also the nut. Nothing gets fastened just yet because we don't have it on the bike. As you can see, we have this whole mess of things here, and it seems a little cumbersome, but this is actually far better than trying to hold all these parts together and install them on the bike. So now we need to grab our converters. Get one, and we are presented with a color choice here. We have blue, red, brown, and on this side we have a mismatch in colors. So yellow here goes to the brown, and our black goes to the red, and the blue remains unconnected. The blue lead is the constant positive 12 wire. These signals do not have a running light function in them, so we will not use this one. Now, as you can see, we have these insulating boots that fit over these connectors. They do a really good job at insulating them from touching each other, but they can slip off. So what we'll do is grab some electrical tape and get those locked down and make sure that they don't touch each other or ground out to anything else, because that would cause a short circuit and it would blow a fuse. What I like to do with the third wire is bend it over on itself and also lock that down. Now remember, you do have constant current through there at all times. Definitely don't want that guy shorting to anything. Once you have a nice tight bundle here, we'll be able to pass the plug through the mounting surface and then get our hardware and also the first black plate through, and then start mounting it all up. Go ahead and thread the nut over the stud. You just need to make sure that the bubbled out surface on that mounting plate fits inside that well right behind here. Now I'm going to grab a 14mm wrench and start tightening down on this nut from the back. We do not want to go all the way tight just yet. I want to preserve some adjustability. At this point, I like to make sure that my beam of light is parallel with the ground. You don't want to shoot up, you don't want to shoot down, you want to shoot at potential drivers to signal to them. And that right there looks pretty good. Now I'm going to lock this down. There is no hard bottom to find with this fastener. It does fasten into a rubber component that is meant to isolate some vibrations and preload this connection so it doesn't back off. So do not over tighten it. You'll probably rip out the hardware from the rubber overmold boot. Okay, now we will have to route this wire through the back here and get it in through the back of this grommet here. One note about the grommet is that it is very, very tight here. You can potentially dislodge it and remove it, but then having all that wire bulk through it makes it very difficult to put it back into its location. So I like to keep it in place and take the very patient approach to make sure that it stays in place while I'm poking this plug through it. So now there are many, many ways to route this to the back side of this light. You can go down through here and follow this frame component, or you can go around the back here. How you do this really remains up to you. What I like to do on this bike is try to go directly across to this bar and behind the headlight. And there is a number of components back here. There's a plug, there are a couple bent wire type keepers. I use all of that to get this through and have it remain captive so that I minimize the exposure, the visual exposure of this wire, and make this whole installation look a little bit better. And once I'm happy with where this wire is routed, I also like to advance the actual wire cover that we have on this signal all the way to the stalk so that none of the yellow is exposed. Once that's there, I'm ready to start poking this plug through the grommet from the backside. Now, like I said, you want to be very patient in how you do this. There's not a lot of room back there. You could push this wire loom out of the way and slowly work that plug in. Once you poke it through, you can pull it through. Now you do have a larger girth of wire where we made the connection and covered it with our tape. So I just work it through nice and slow. And once we get that through, I will look over that routing, make sure it's captive, and in fact it is. I'm going to bunch up this wire back behind all of this. There is a well back there that will have enough volume to hold this. And if you remember from an earlier step when we disconnected these guys, we determined that this is the left color connector. So we'll plug into here, into the gray, test it, and boom, we've got signals. As you can tell, it's flashing a little bit faster than OEM rate of 85 cycles per minute. If you change the front and rear signals, that rate will increase. And like I said in the intro, you can combat that with our Gen 2 flasher relay. Anyway, at this point, what I'm going to do is just repeat all of these steps on the right side of the bike. And now, final step, we can reconnect our headlight. You'll notice that there are springs here at the bottom. That goes to the bottom, and these threaded holes align with the screws. Plug the headlight in, and there's a clip here, tab, that needs to go under this interference lock geometry. And then we just simply replace these screws, and then we'll be done. All right, so we are done with the installation. As you can see, we have our signals flashing. If you're interested in slowing down your flash rate, pick up one of these Gen 2 flasher relays and you'll be set to go. All right, if you like what you see here, check out tstindustries.com where you find these products, other products for this bike, a lot of cool stuff. Hope to see you there. Take care.